Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Charter Township of Kalamazoo, September 23rd, 2024 board meeting. And the first thing is call to order. The second thing is the pledge. Trustee Robinson, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next thing is roll call, and Trustee Mackey is not here tonight. Do I have someone to excuse her, please?
I will move to excuse Clerk Mackey from.
Yeah, thank you.
Support.
Doesn't work better for her. Good thing she's not watching this. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm not gonna give her a chance. Opposed, say nay. Thank you. So I did it quickly there, just so we can get past it. Thank you. Okay, next thing is any additions or deletions from the agenda. Okay. Okay, the next one is public comment. You have 3 minutes. Please come to the podium, give us your name and where you live, and we'd be glad to listen to you. Seeing nobody rising right up.
Anyone on Zoom?
Okay, do we have anybody on Zoom? Nobody on Zoom? Okay, very good. Okay, now down to consent agenda, and I didn't ask ahead of time. Who's reading the consent agenda tonight? Steve, you want to read it for me then, because we didn't ever say anything up?
Sure. And I proceed with that right now then? Okay. So the consent agenda, I would move for adoption, and this consent agenda includes the approval of the payment of the bills in an amount of $219,653.01, and the receipt of retirement recognition of Sean Gallagher and Joe Landraville. I want to say Landraville, that's his French name, and that is the consent agenda.
Thank you, sir.
Is that a motion,
That's the
sir?
motion, yeah.
I will second the motion.
So, second motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Thanks, folks. Okay, the next thing is on the agenda is the public hearing. So I will open the public hearing right now. Public hearing is open at 7:32 for the IFT for Azon Corporation, USA LLC. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak about that? Seeing nobody, close the public hearing at 7:33. All right. Now we'll go down to the, let me write this down a minute so I've got times. I know Barb's already got it probably, but. And you shake your head yes. Okay, we're down to, we have no old business, we have new business. And the first one is a request to adopt the revision, the board policy and presentate as presented. Good. Have any comments, questions, or motions? Trustee Miller.
I know many of us read carefully this draft of all of these. I did myself. I did not suggest any corrections. I didn't find any. I'm sure probably Trustee Ludi did, because he is our hawk for seeing things like that. But I did notice that I was involved in writing the earlier version, the original version of this. And there are things that I might go back and look at in a slightly different way now, but I thought, this is fine as it is, and I'm sure that the new board in the new term will want to revisit these manuals and perhaps add some additional policies. And we can let any other changes up to them. There's no errors that I found, so I'd like to thank our superintendent for the very good work in revising all of these. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I One thing I would say, and the superintendent mentioned it before, that she's divided these up in these multiple parts, and it reads easier, and I appreciate that.
You didn't make that a motion, did you, Marcia?
I will be happy to move to adopt the revised board policy.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, motion made and supported. Any other comments or questions? I'm just thankful. I will just make a comment there. I know you and I have talked about these, and we went through some of this, and I want to thank you very much for putting this in order and getting it done. That says a lot for us. Moving ahead. So, okay, we got a motion on the floor to go ahead and adopt the requirement to adopt the revision for the board policy as presented. And we'll do a roll call vote on these as we go. We'll start off with trustee Glass.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. Okay. The next one is a request to adopt the revision of finance policy as presented. Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to approve the revised financial policy as presented. I, too, had an opportunity to speak with Superintendent Morad on a couple of the questions that I had and corrections that we discussed, and I am very comfortable with what has been brought forward. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
I'll be happy to second the motion.
I'll support that.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. We'll do another we'll do another roll call vote, and we'll start off with Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you.
Supervisor,
Yes,
if I can just chime in a minute.
sure.
Mr. Kowalski, is anyone on Zoom right now?
At this point, no.
So I received a text that one of our employees can't get in on Zoom. So I just want to make sure that we are situated and have everything properly out there. Okay. The numbers might be off, or?
Yeah, numbers are off. So it should be 860-650-8918.
860,
Eight. Sorry. Yeah, 860-6506-18.
Yep. 6506. 9818.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then I will make sure those that are contacting any of us, I have the correct number.
Okay.
And I can follow up with you tomorrow and make sure
Okay,
that document that I gave you is correct.
perfect, thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next one here is a request to adopt the revision personnel policy as presented. Do you have anybody that wants to make a motion or talk about it?
I'll make a motion to adopt the revision to the personnel policy as presented.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Do I have any questions or comments? Okay, we'll do another roll call vote. We'll start off the top of the list again. Trustee Glass.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. Okay, the next one is a request to adopt the revision property management policy changes as presented. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll move to adopt the revisions to the Kalamazoo Township Property Management Policy as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll start off with Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
And I'm aye. Thank you. Okay, the next one is a request to approve the contract. Okay, the next one is to approve a contract with OCV LLC for creation and management of an internal mobile app using ARPA funds. And do we want to, Superintendent, you want to talk about that a little bit? So
Sure.
the ones that don't know what we're talking about?
I'd be happy to. Our police chief was at a conference this year, and this was marketed to law enforcement as a way to communicate, just like an app that you would see with your banking apps. And versus going on the website, you can subscribe to our app through your Apple Store or your Android. And it makes a more convenient way, just as another tool, not to replace the website or our Facebook, but another tool to communicate with our residents. It also allows us to have the push feature, that if we have an announcement that we need to make quickly to residents, if you have opted into those text alerts, you will get the alerts. It also allows us to connect with, for example, the National Weather Service. So if the Weather Service is connected to the app, you will get, hey, we have a tornado warning or a thunderstorm warning in our area. So it just allows one more mechanism for us to connect with our community and let them know what's going on. Each department can have their own page and ability to push messages out. So for elections, the clerk can do that. For the treasurer, taxes are due on this date, don't forget, here's our hours. For a superintendent to text out that we have bulk pickup during this week or recycling pickup. And it also allows law enforcement to ensure that there is additional communication, and will allow the fire department to do the same. So it's just another mechanism for us, again, to connect with our community. And when he brought that, as a law enforcement office, I said, hey, I think that'd be great township-wide, that we all endorse that and bring that on for all of our areas. So thank you to him for bringing that to us. I met with them last week and got super excited and said, hey, I think this is something that could really assist in our communication with our residents.
It's kind of neat because one of the things too, I don't know if you know because you weren't here, I don't believe at the time that we ever used it, but when we have a lot of snow and stuff like that, when Western closes, we close.
Yep.
And so with that app, it's kind of nice because we could just automatically, people got their phones, we can let them know that we're closed.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying we don't put it on the news, but this is just another application that's good for it too.
Yeah, it will allow that, it will allow us to push to them versus
Sure.
them going on our website
Sure.
looking for something. So yeah, I think it'll be a great tool for us to get the word out when we need to.
It's kind of funny because she got that last week, whenever it was, and then yesterday I got a card from a company pushing that app. I got a note in my mailbox. So, kind of nice. I think it's really a helpful tool for us too, so. Do I have anybody that wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to support. Sorry. To request to approve the contract with OCV LLC for creation and maintenance of external mobile app using ARPA funds.
Thank you.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Trustee Miller.
Excuse me. I don't know very much about these things, but is the idea for if you want to be notified, excuse me, if you want to be notified, you have to download the app and opt in somewhere in that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that would be something we put on the website. You know, we'll push that all out as much as we can. Steve?
I wanted to tell you, I just had a question from a resident. Is it okay to have a recreational fire? And I was like, well, I have to go to the website to see if there's a red line banner, to see if there's a restriction on that. And this would solve this more proactively rather than having to go to the webpage, just as you mentioned. The other thing I would say maybe for the minutes, that we could also, if we could maybe add to the motion or just include it in the minutes, the dollar amount of $13,999.75.
And if I could comment,
Sure.
Supervisor. This also, allows us to push out, it allows them to opt out if they need to. So if they get tired of our texts, they can also say, hey, I don't wanna receive these texts anymore, so that it's not, I mean, it's fully there, under their purview, how much that, they receive from us.
Right. Trustee Robinson?
It reminds me of Nixle, which is something that I have on my phone, and you opt in and sends you all the lovely alerts, and when there's something going on in the township, if the offices are gonna be closed due to inclement weather or things of that nature, you can get it out to more people much faster that way. So, and they're also, I don't know if they have the business cards with the QR code, which allows people to opt in that way, which makes it really, really easy. It's just another avenue to get it to people quicker. And yeah, you can always just type stop if you want it to end. So,
It does
I think
come
it's a
with full
great
marketing
idea.
package.
okay.
So we'll have banners that have the QR code on there. We'll have little table tents that they can, when they come in, just scan that. I'm sure we'll have them out throughout the community. It also allows neighboring communities, if they want to know what's going on, to opt in, and they get these same alerts.
Good. Thank you. Any other comments before we vote on this? Okay, I saw Ashley's up first. Oh, hers is first? Well, either one, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for bringing this up. I think communication has been something we've talked about a lot as a board and as a community, and I think this is a great, complementary tool, and I'm just really happy that we're being proactive about our communication.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking through the agreement, and it appears that we're signing up for a 3-year period. And after the first year, the initial 13,000, after that it's 5,000 a year. And then you have the opportunity to decline renewal after that.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's great that we have a chance to try it out. And
I do too.
thank you.
I like proactive rather than reactive,
Yes.
so. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the question. We'll start with Trustee Glass.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
And I'm aye. Thank you. Okay, the next thing is is brought by the superintendent here, is the 2025 budget kickoff for October 14th, 2024 work session, and cancel the 2021-2024 meeting. And am I reading this wrong here? Let me try to read it off the side here. Okay, request to set the 2025 budget kickoff discussion for the work session on October 14th, 2024, and cancel the budget hearing for October 21st, 2024. That one reads better than I'm trying to read here. Okay, any questions or comments?
Well, I'd like to know the rationale. for-
Okay.
I will be out of town on October 21st, and last year, you set the agenda for the special meeting, and I will not be here to kick that off on that Monday. So I had hoped that we could kick off earlier instead of later, since we probably will have a lot to talk about, so we can begin those discussions at our regular work session on the 14th, and then have another update on the 28th, and we can go out to the first meeting in November as well
Right.
if we need to. So I will not be here on the 21st, is the rationale.
Steve?
I support this because in practicality, it's basically the same in that we have an informal budgetary meeting.
Right.
And instead of having like a third meeting of the month scheduled for the special budget meeting, we're just taking the opportunity of a work session at 5:30 to do that. And then if needed, can do that again 2 weeks later. I support that. If it needs to be in a form of a motion, our supervisor basically gave that, but let me reread it. A motion to approve setting October 14th, 2024, this work session to begin discussions of the 2025 operating budget and canceling the October 21st special budget meeting.
And I'll second the motion.
Any discussion Treasurer Miller.
Thank you. I appreciate this motion, and I appreciate the opportunity to have the budget discussion beginning in October. For the past few years, the special budget meeting that had been scheduled had been canceled, and we never came back around to just have discussions on it. So I appreciate this so much. Thank you, and I look forward to October 14th when we begin our discussions.
Anybody else? Okay, I know we don't want to do a roll call vote, but as long as we're on a roll, we'll just keep going with it, and we'll start off with Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
And I'm aye. Thank you. Okay, before I get to the next one here, a little background here. We had a Republican here the other day, and then the superintendent and myself sat down and looked over the contracts and talked to them about some of the problems that we're having. And we looked at our contracts when they come due, and they all come due a different day. And we are coming up on the recycle one. And so we decided that we had to do something. We decided we're going to have a board change here coming up. And we decided that to get all these lined up, we would go, if we could go another year on this contract for the recycle, then we could put everything at the same date, so they'd all come due at the same time. So when you guys did RFP out there, you would be the same. So instead of having two dates all jogged around, that way it'd give Tracy a chance to dig into it a little bit more. I pulled back all the files I had on Republic, because her trying to get started here, not saying she can't do it, but her getting started here with all the things that she's taking on right now, we want to sit down and read these contracts really well. So I think this is a really good opportunity for us to do that. And what it does say here is to request authorization for superintendent to negotiate and authorize extension for the Republic for bulk and recycle services. And that was a 1-year recycle contract, right?
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor, is this a 1 year from what date?
March.
March
Oh,
31st.
okay. Thanks.
Okay. Trustee Liddy?
I appreciate you, Supervisor, explaining the rationale like that, because in our 2013 community survey, it documented that these special program collections, the recycling every other week, the 3 bulk trash pickups in April, July, and October, and then the 3 yard waste pickups, 1 in the spring and 2 in the fall. Those are so valued by residents, and we would not want to have any interruption for that, and let our superintendent concentrate on the top priorities right now and give us another year so that everything's aligned. I should say, that survey said that police and fire were one of the most important things, or were the most important things for residents, and the recycling and special pickup programs were right behind that. So it's very valued.
Thank you. Superintendent?
I would also mention, the reason that we're bringing this before so quickly now is they're doing their calendars for next year. So they really wanted to know from us, do you intend in March? Because we can get you on calendars. If not, then go ahead and keep discussing it, and then we'll fill you in where we had openings. And we felt that the consistency of keeping with our same calendar will help the residents. Because the last thing we want to do is get them to know the dates, the April, and then we change it on them. So I wanted to make sure to bring that before this board and make sure that we have time to let them know so we can keep our consistent calendar for next year.
Any other questions or comments? Shereen? No.
I was going to make a motion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I move to approve the superintendent to negotiate an extension contract with Republic Services for bulk and recycling services.
Okay. Any other comments? No. Thank you.
Well,
And I'll support it.
we support, okay.
Okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one comment.
Sure.
You are just moving and grooving, and thank you so much. My goodness. Thank you.
And I forgot to say there, I don't want to leave Steve out. When we met with Republic, Steve was here also at the township at the time, so all 3 of us met with Republic and tried to get some stuff back to them too about their call center, about them telling to call us instead of calling them, and so, hey, Jack was gonna straighten that
Yeah.
out, we're gonna get some stuff straightened out, so. we are.
Thank you.
Okay? Very good. We'll do a roll call vote, and we'll start off with Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, the next one here, and make sure I get this. I'm looking here. What's the building authority? Am I missing one here?
It should be the 90-day evaluation.
Yeah, it should be on evaluation. I got the building authority here, so I got mixed up here. Okay, the next one here is the request to, let's see, the next one here is the request to approve the distribution of the superintendent's 90-day evaluation. And we looked at this, and HR worked on this, and so we were asking the board to fill out the questionnaire. They'll send it out and then send it back to me, electronically send it back to me. We'll score it, we'll do the average, and then we'll do the cover sheet when we get done. And we're doing that because that's what we said we'd do, and we want to do what we said we'd do. And we also are trying to do some of that evaluation within the township right now too. I've got one out for some people in the township, so I'm sure we're gonna continue this on down the road. So we can start building records, good, bad, and indifferent, but at least we'll know that we've done what we're supposed to be doing. At least you guys will be doing what you're supposed to be doing, let's put it that way. Okay? Any questions? Any comments, Steve?
I just appreciate this opportunity because evaluations are so important. They're so scary for employees in general. I know my knees knock and I quiver whenever I had evaluation. It all went fine always, but because we're conscientious about good work, you know, and these evaluations are just, the intent of them is a two-way street of communication, just improving the communication. How can we sharpen our pencils and provide more services in the township? So I appreciate this opportunity to participate in this, and with that, I guess I would like to make a motion to approve setting the township superintendent's 90-day review for October 28th.
Do I have support on that?
Support.
Motion made and support to go ahead and do the 90-day evaluation. Any other questions, Trustee Miller?
I think the instrument is fine, and I'd be very happy to participate. I'll just observe that 90 days is not long, and it's not really, for some of the questions, I'll have to either think or maybe have some more conversations with the superintendent about things that I said, well, I don't know yet. So with that as a kind of a little asterisk, this is a good precedent to set of getting started on evaluations quickly.
Thank you. You know, and I know that, one of the things is too is that the people that are here every day, the clerk, the treasurer, myself, we probably have more insight of what goes on here than the other trustees. Because we're here and we see what goes on, we know what's going on, we're involved with what's going on. So you guys are at a little bit of disadvantage of that there, but I think it's a good tool for the employee and also for the employer. That's something we need to do, and that one of the things that I think keeps everybody on their mark too. So,
I will
Superintendent.
say contractually, the labor attorney, I believe, suggested that. That was in the
Right.
contract to say 90 days and then every year following. So it's 90 days and then it will be every July going
Yep.
forward.
Yep, that was Mr. Marshall did that. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote, and we'll start off with Trustee Glass,
Aye.
Trustee Ludi,
Aye.
Trustee Miller,
Aye.
Trustee Robinson,
Aye.
Treasurer Miller,
Aye.
and I'm aye. Thank you. Okay, the next one is is a request for the area building authority budget. Are you serving on that, Steve?
Yeah.
You want to talk to us a little bit about this?
Sure.
I know I got the paper in front of me, but
Yeah, well, it's just recently, on the 17th of this month, the CABA board, the Kalamazoo Area Building Authority is CABA. The board of directors approved the CABA's budget for 2025. And this way, because we're multiple jurisdictions, Pine Grove Township, Kalamazoo Township, Comstock, Richland Township, the Village of Richland, the City of Parchment, I hope I didn't leave anybody out. So it's multiple units of government, it's a lot of pieces. And so the way the budget approval process happens with CABA by its bylaws is that the CABA board takes the first step in approving the budget, and then it goes to each local unit of government to also approve. And that's what's in front of us tonight, is it's seeking Kalamazoo Township's approval of that. And attached in the board packet was the breakdown of projected budget costs and then a comparison from this current year. And I have to admit that there was a question about the line item for payroll and wages. And I texted Mike Allwine, who's the managing director for CABA, just to clarify if I was thinking right. But my answer would be that payroll and wages applies to staff as well as the contracted inspectors who do the mechanical inspections, the electrical, the plumbing. Those are contracted out. And if I'm wrong, I will let everybody know what the right answer is, but that's the answer I'm going with, based on my experience and my knowledge of this budget. And so with that, I guess I would like to make a motion to approve the Kalamazoo Area Building Authority's 2025 budget.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, and we'll start off with Treasurer Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. Okay, the next one here is a thing to adopt the approval of the IFT request for Azon USA LLC for the property at 2204 Ravine Road with the Township of Kalamazoo. And I might want to have you tell us a little bit about this.
So this application came to us about a month ago. We adopted an industrial facilities district at your meeting on September the 9th. That was the first step in the process. I'm required then to notify all the taxing entities of the purported requested tax abatement. They're requesting a 50% abatement for 12 years. They are going to be putting $2,150,000 in improvements onto their property, which I believe is basically a new building and some other infrastructure. That is what the certificate is requested, and the affidavit or the resolution that I prepared is for. They're indicating that they are putting $250,000 additional personal property in. The threshold for reporting on personal property has gone up such that they don't even have to report that, so there's no way to get a tax abatement on
Right.
it. So the resolution is prepared, you held your public hearing, none of the taxing entities contacted us at all. If you think about it, the township tax in the grand scheme of things is considerably smaller than the other taxing entities, and they generally don't say anything in terms of granting this. The resolution's the next step. After that, I have an agreement prepared that will have them sign and that we'll have to sign. That's all ready to go. And then they also have to pay our fees. So we're in the process of calculating how much it costs us to do the noticing. And once we get that done, we'll present them with their bill of costs and then package it up so that we can send it to the State Tax Commission. That needs to be done by October 30th.
Thank you. That's very good, sir. Very good to survey of what we've got going on here. Trustee Miller.
I see the agenda request and the reference to a resolution, and I see the application is included here, but I don't see where the resolution is.
It's in front of you.
Oh, it's on the, it's
on
on
the
our
table.
desk. Very good. I'm just looking at one source.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else, any questions or comments? Do I hear a motion?
Let me get to it.
I'll make the motion.
I'll move to adopt the resolution approving the IFT request of Azon USA LLC for the property at 2204 Ravine Road within the township.
Thank you. Do I have support?
Support.
A motion made and supported. Any other questions or comments? I will say one thing before I'm looking for hands here. They have been busy digging holes and putting foundations in too for their new corporate office, so. And I see they're adding another, looks like another section to it right now. So they're busy working. Okay. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Trustee Glass.
Aye.
Trustee Ludi.
Aye.
Trustee Milner.
Aye.
Trustee Robinson.
Aye.
Treasurer Milner.
No.
And I'm aye. Thank you.
I'll put that resolution in form and send it off to your clerk to be, put in your resolution book
Okay.
and distributed. We'll need a copy of it, including the application.
Todd, did we ever get anybody on Zoom?
We did, and they have since left.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay. All right, now we're going down, there's nothing removed, so we'll go down to board member comments, and I'm gonna change them around a little bit here. I'm gonna have Trustee Robinson go first. So Trustee Robinson, you wanna
Okey dokey.
lead us off?
Yep. All right. So, I'm just gonna say that I asked to go first this evening, so stand by. Y'all know I'm a little special. So, I just wanted to take a moment, to inform you all that I have made some major decisions, personal decisions. And so, it is my duty to let you all know what those are, because it affects my ability to continue to serve on this board. So, effective October 11th, I do plan to step down from my spot, and I will explain why. So I hope that you all will find this to be a step up and not just me stepping down. A position became available at a local township in which I thought, I might be able to do that and be of some use. And after 12 years where I have worked, I decided that I would take that leap of faith and apply for that job and jump off that cliff, and I did, and I landed. And I hope you all will accept me here at Kalamazoo Township full-time as a part of the staff and not on the board after October 11th. I think that it is a way for me to continue to serve in a greater capacity, to continue to be a voice for people just from a different avenue and perspective. I am here for anybody that wants to listen or run ideas past me or whatever. I thank you all for all of the conversations, the easy ones and the hard ones. It has been a lot of learning experiences and those things. It forces me to have to change a whole bunch of different things in order to do it, but in the end, I think that what I'm doing is not only a good decision for me and my family, but also a really, really good decision for me to be able to help in a greater capacity. And so I look forward to becoming an asset to the team, an already amazing team of people. I hope that I will be accepted in that capacity over here. And that is why I wanted to go first. So I wanted to get that off my chest. I couldn't sit on that for too long. Also, all things considered and knowing that clearly there are elections coming up, I wanted to be sure that it got put out prior to that time, so that I am not doing a disservice to those residents that are looking for their candidates. And I don't want to mislead anyone in this. So that is why I chose now to do that right now for that purpose. And I'll also be reaching out to what will be the new supervisor and speaking with him. I look forward to working with him as well. So thank you all.
Thank you. I'm looking for questions, comments. You know, anybody got anything?
Don't ask no questions.
I'll say my
You have questions? I'll answer all your questions in a minute.
I just want to know what position, if that's allowed, I didn't hear it. That you're going into, if I may know, if not, I get it.
No, it is executive coordinator, working with the superintendent and the whole nine, all the folks to help.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Thank you. Didn't expect that part.
Yeah. Okay. That's probably the best of all kept secret, right?
Woo, that was rough. That was rough.
Okay, I think we'll go through, these here, and then at the end of it, if there's questions, we'll have Roxanne, be able to answer us, okay? Okay. All right, let's start off with trustee Glass.
Thank you. I just have a few quick updates. One is that we did end up submitting the urban forestry grant, which was a project that came out of residents in the Westwood neighborhood, spearheaded by Craig Sherwood and Mark Miller and I, all working together to think about ways we can restore the canopy in the neighborhood, the natural canopy. Particularly because Westwood and Eastwood were hit pretty hard when the service line replacements happened, and so a lot of mature trees came down, and that made a lot of people stop and think, like, what are we doing to replace those, and how can we fix this? So we applied for some funding to help with that. It should be, I believe they said 2 months before we know how much or if we will receive anything. So thank you to Mark Miller and Craig Sherwood for all they did to help get that together. Second, I just wanted to thank firefighters Sean Gallagher and Joe Londerville for their service, and we really appreciate all that you've done for us over the years. I know many people, I don't know Joe very well. I know Sean a bit because he lives in my neighborhood, and I know many people have had great interactions with them, so I just wanted to say thank you for their service. We're still working on getting the park improvements going, but Stroud improvements, Lakewood, and some in Wilson Recreation Area should be starting, I believe, if not this fall, then early spring. We'll have some of those things. The new grills, picnic tables, and some updated playground equipment are all pieces of those projects. So keep an eye open for those improvements in the parks. And then last, I had reached out to Joanna and the Road Commission and just checked with her on maybe Superintendent Moorhead and I meeting with her and getting some updates on what all is included in our contract and just better understanding some of the upcoming projects, including Arthur Avenue, which I received the copy of the contract today, and it does say that there will be drainage improvements included in that project. Don't know the timeline, but I'm glad that it specifies the issue because I know it's been an ongoing thing for people on Arthur Avenue.
Some people.
And I really want to make sure that it includes what needs to be done there to stop the flooding issue. So we'll still try to see how we can maybe move that forward a little faster. But I'm glad to see that it is definitely part of the project and the plan. And then lastly, just a few awareness things. September was, we're almost through it, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month and also Substance Recovery Awareness Month. Those are issues that affect a lot of people around us, people we know and don't know, so I think it's an important thing to think about. But October is also bringing breast cancer awareness and domestic violence awareness. So you should see a lot of resources and information coming out about those issues in October as well. And September 15th through October 15th was Hispanic Heritage Month, so I just wanted to recognize that too.
Okay, I'm just add a little bit of what you had said there on Arthur Avenue. I got an email this morning. I took a ride up there. They're supposed to start working on the drains today, and they're supposed to have them done by the 30th. So there are, if you haven't seen anybody up there today, they will be there probably tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow because it's supposed to rain, but they're scheduled to work between the 23rd and the 30th. So I went up there, Tony, this first thing this morning to see if I saw any equipment up there, and it wasn't when I got there, but I was there at 10 o'clock, so it is on the docket. So. Okay, Trustee Ludi.
I wanted to echo what Trustee Glass said about our retired firefighters. I think I've known Sean Gallagher particularly more than Joe too, but Sean's esteem went high up in my head when he received a life-saving award, and then I realized all the other awards in the past he's done, and so these gentlemen have given their personal lives, they've given up family time for many, many years, and they've really committed themselves, and I know they've grown too in the fire department, but I think we as a community are the greater beneficiary. They have literally saved people that are alive today because of their service. So I appreciate that too. I want to also mention about, we're talking about road work and drainage work, but you're also seeing around town, particularly in the Westwood neighborhood now, because it's been mostly completed on the Eastwood and Northwood areas, but they're still actively working on Seminole and Iroquois Street and a little bit on Arlington for the remaining days of this month. And Seminole in particular, it was a project where, just to back up, Seminole is the only street that gets you to Grand Prairie from the Westwood neighborhood, gets you access to the golf course, the Indian Prairie Elementary School, the Westwood Little League fields, the Stroud Family Park, Kalamazoo Central High School, the Kalamazoo River Valley Trail. If you want to get access to all those meaningful community assets, you either have to go up Nichols Road or Drake Road, and it's a mile stretch between the two. So Nichols is the only road that's in between those two points in that mile stretch. So it's so important, and this has been in the planning for 5 years now, since 2019. And I particularly wanted to thank Treasurer Miller for being an advocate. I've always felt her strong support for this project. COVID hit, knocked us back a few steps. Treasurer Miller and the rest of the board were very supportive of getting that done. And if you have a chance, check it out. It's just miraculously different. And you build it, they will come. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of people streaming out of the neighborhood to access all those points and be able to walk and keep their fitness and just be able to catch buses and get to school and all those basic things as well. There's so much work on sidewalks that I've gotten 3 contacts today. 5 contacts actually. I've been to 3 sites and had 2 more I stopped at on the way to the meeting today. It's just really a lot of interest people have on the sidewalks, and it's because they're seeing work being done, and they're also saying, "What about me? What about me?" So I encourage more people who say, "What about me?" to contact me directly or the township office and just explain the situation that you're experiencing and make sure we're aware of what's going on. And I plan for our next meeting to have more of a very short, but have a comprehensive document of the situation that we've been working on since 2015 on non-motorized improvements and what the future ahead could look like as one of the options. But that includes feedback from residents telling us about deficiencies in their sidewalk or other matters, so we can put them on our radar screen. If it's not on our radar screen, like Seminole on our radar screen since 2019, it just doesn't get done. So you have to have to have these planning processes in order so that they'll be shovel-ready and they can actually happen when the stars are aligned. One thing, too, I wanted to mention was about, on our consent agenda, which I read, there was no meeting minutes, and I just want to assure residents that, because transparency is one of the main issues, people say, well, what are they doing at the township? Explain to me, make me aware of that. And the meeting minutes are the simple, it's the most basic form of keeping residents aware of what's happening. If they miss the meeting, they could go to the minutes and read it. And so I wanted to assure everyone that they are being prepared. It's largely because the election is sucking up all the oxygen in the room right now. But what we are aware, and this would be a great booklet for the new board members, called the Township Board Meetings, an introduction from MTA. And when you become an elected official, you dive into this, and like Trustee Miller and I have become graduates of the Township Governance Academy, as we just take our jobs very seriously. Supervisor Martin would be a graduate of that. He's got enough coursework under his belt to do that, but it made me refer to this resource that draft minutes shall be available for public inspection within 8 days following the meeting to which they refer. So we're mindful of that, and I hope that we can even do a better job. This is no way a criticism; it's a compliment to Barb Blankenship, who's doing our meetings minutes right now. We're so lucky to have her, but she also has lots of responsibilities that I recognize in elections. So I think we really need to seriously look for another mechanism for doing meeting minutes that doesn't put so much more work on the shoulders of someone who's already working way over time and doing a lot of things. Trustee Miller, when he was clerk, actually did the meeting minutes, did a real skeleton version during the meetings, and then he listened back, tell me if I remember this wrong, but then you listened back to the recordings, your own recording, I believe, but you could also listen to PMN's recording, and then verified they had details, because it's hard as a board member to take meeting minutes thoroughly and listen to the conversation that's going on. But there are techniques, and maybe there's a different mechanism, so we can make sure, assure our residents that we are following this requirement of at least providing draft minutes within 8 days of the meeting occurring. And the last thing I wanted to mention, because Trustee Glass had mentioned about grills, and that's one of the things that maybe still need, maybe you're already working on it, is that we got feedback from the fire marshal that grills are not allowed within the pavilion structures. So it would not be like the pavilion at Lakewood Park or Stroud Family Playground. That would not be legal. So we want to make sure that grills are only, we're only going to sign a contract to put grills outside of that area to promote fire safety. So that's all I have to share. Thanks.
Thank you. Trustee Miller.
Trustee Glass also preempted several things I was going to say about the urban forestry grant, which we are hopeful for. And that is a concrete way of dealing with climate change, which I guess I have one regret that we weren't able to push forward further than we have on that issue, although we've had a committee working on it. The announcement by Trustee Robinson fills me with a mixture of emotions. Certainly very, very happy when you got to the second part of your announcement. I thought you were just resigning for something else at first. But I'm very happy to hear that. It does leave us with, I had assumed that you would be our representative to the Water Wastewater Regional Commission. I believe that by our bylaws of that group has to be an elected board member. So we'll have to look for someone else to learn that, but at least you'll be around to help that person, whoever it is, learn the ropes of what that group is all about.
And I'm still their bookkeeper.
And yes, I'm still the bookkeeper for that. But Kalamazoo Township's representation on that group is important, and we are like the number one customer outside of the city. The days are flying by, and the end of this term will be in a blink and a skip. And I'll have more to say later when the new board takes over after the election, and I'll have some words to say. I hope some of them may be characterized as words of wisdom, but I'll let others judge that at the time. Time is really flying by. This election is extremely important at all levels, and I don't know what I can say that hasn't been said 100 times. It's everybody's responsibility to get out and vote and take part in our democratic system of self-government. It's vitally important. I take it extremely seriously. I like to go and vote on election day. I know there are other options, but I like to greet the poll workers who are serving my precinct, and I know them very well. Thanks, that's all.
Thank you. Treasurer Miller.
Thank you. I am very excited every time I drive through my neighborhood to see that there's sidewalk work and handicap accessible ramps in, and now the dirt has been filled around them, and I am hearing residents talk. They are actually seeing action. They're seeing their tax dollars in work, which as a taxpayer, I'm very happy for that. I'm seeing those tax dollars at work. I was going to read what Chief Baird had prepared for the retirees, but I think that Supervisor Martin
No,
is going
I'll
to
let
do
you go ahead and read that, because we've already got their name out, so you go ahead and I'll say something when it gets to my turn.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'd love to. When someone else writes the speech, I'm all in. It is with much gratitude, along with a heavy heart, that I submit to you the retirements of 2 of our POC members after 45 years of combined service to the citizens of Kalamazoo. Joe Landerville has retired after 30 years of service out of the Eastwood Station after serving as a firefighter, relief driver, EO, lieutenant, and mentor to many firefighters. Firefighter Landreville retired after being named the Firefighter of the Year in 2005 and was awarded numerous life-saving awards over his illustrious career. Sean Gallagher has also made the decision to step away after 15 years, which was 5 more than he initially set his goal of completing when he joined the fire department. Firefighter Gallagher also received numerous life-saving awards whereby he saved citizens through the direct application of emergency medical services. Chief Baird would like to personally thank both members for their commitment and thanks on behalf of a grateful department and community. And I echo that 120%. Thank you both, Joe and Sean.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Claire on the decisions she made. I know those aren't easy decisions to make. And Kalamazoo Township will be the benefit of your great service. So I really thank you for choosing to stay with us in another capacity. Second thing we'll go on to with Joe Vanero and Sean Gallagher. I know these guys very well. All the years I had in the fire service, I got to know them personally as gentlemen, but also as firefighters. And there's quite a few of us have tried to talk them both and stay in longer, and we've got them to stay a little bit longer, but we can't get them to stay any longer than what we already have. So we wish them well in their retirement. with the job well done, the 45 years between the two of them, for the residents of the township of Kalamazoo. Third thing, we'll go back to Steve's sidewalks here. Sidewalk project going on, we had a lot of complaints. The sidewalk project started because as we were doing the sidewalk project, AT&T decided that they wanted to lay fiber optic in the sidewalk area. So the sidewalks, instead of being 5 foot wide, ended up being about 8 foot wide when they cut them. And we had a lot of neighbors complaining that their whole front yards are gone. And so between Steve and I, and mostly Steve, but we both visited one resident many times, make sure that things would be all right. And his yard looks nice. He did a great job. The sidewalks look great. We've got a board member that's legally blind that lives right out that way, and now he can walk the sidewalks. I mean, a board member on one of our committees, I don't mean this board, but one of our committees. And so that's a great thing. But between the sidewalks and the roads, the lead lines going into these houses and what they've done in these streets going from Arlington down to Dartmouth, down to Pinehurst. Pinehurst is the last one so far. I hope they learned a good lesson on a lot of these. I drive those streets every day because I go down there and find out they're shut down. You can't get an emergency vehicle through there, a police car, a fire truck, an ambulance, or anything. So there's many phone calls been made to the contractor and also to the person who oversees it through the engineering firm that's overseeing this project. Steve has contacted the engineering firm a lot too, so a lot of work getting done trying to get these things wrapped up for this year. But thank you, Steve, for everything that you've done there. And I am done talking, so I'm going to see I see my lawyer out here talking with our superintendent, so now it's going to be her turn.
So here we are, looking at the timeline of the resignation here. You had a meeting scheduled for October the 14th. It becomes incumbent upon the board to accept the resignation on a particular effective date. So I believe that trustee Robinson indicated October the 11th would be
Right.
your effective date. So the question for you becomes, if you are going to go with that date, you need to make a motion to accept the resignation effective October the 11th. Now, if, on the other hand, trustee Robinson is planning on being here for the meeting on the 14th, you can accept it then.
What y'all want me to do?
Go ahead.
So upon resignation, is there any requirement for us to fill the seat immediately?
Well, there is a requirement on a resignation to fill within 45 days. However, you have an election within 45 days, so there's really nothing to fill. I mean, you could, but what you're basically doing is having somebody come in and fill 2 days, and it's only for the unexpired term.
I was hoping that's what you would say.
Yeah, so yeah, that's one thing that we don't have to worry
It was
about.
intentional.
The other
It
thing
was
we have to worry
intentional.
about is the ballots are printed, and trustee Robinson
I
is
can't take my
on them.
name off.
So what we had suggested is if she gets elected, which she very well may, that she not qualify, which means she doesn't take the oath of office, and she does not then become a trustee. That will leave a vacancy starting on November 20th to be filled by the new board. I think that's the best way to do that. It's too late to do anything about ballots. And, I mean, we're happy with all of this. I just don't know, trustee Robinson, what your thought was with respect to that meeting on the 14th. If you don't want to be attending that, then what we need to do is to have the board accept your resignation tonight, effective on the 11th.
Or you start on the 15th, the day after.
Would
the
you
board
prefer I
meeting.
do that?
So it's totally.
That's fine. I can change it to the 14th. That's fine.
Cool, then we'll have something in writing, and we'll
Okay.
probably have the fire chief make a big announcement.
Nuh-uh.
Since he's so good at it.
No, thank you.
Is that-
Okay.
I had a question
Sure.
for the attorney. So if I understand right, an additional option could be, is that voters would select, there would be another trustee candidate. In this case, it would be someone from the Republican Party, because the Democratic Party's already been fixed in the primary election. There are 4 candidates, and that's all there are on the Democratic side, but there are 4 candidates on a different party, and so there's a possibility that if one of those 4 candidates of the Republican Party got an appropriate number of votes, and they could be elected without the board actually having to take the option, as you said, that the new board would appoint
Right.
someone.
Right, it's just planning ahead in case.
Right.
That's right.
Because I believe she got quite a few votes in the primary, so
Yeah.
just to keep in mind, it's all by number of votes.
That's right.
And if you have a vacancy, we will create one by not having you accept the job, and then the new board has 45 days to appoint. And for what it's worth, there's no rules on appointment. You don't have to publish anything, you don't have to take a particular vote getter. It's all up to the new board to decide who will be the new trustee, if that happens.
That's where I think Trustee Robinson's nobility shines again, where she's trying to make this information available as soon as possible, so it's transparent and open to the public, and I admire that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're good. All right.
Their comments.
Huh?
We do superintendent.
I don't know, Superintendent
Okay.
We didn't
Moran
do the
had
superintendent.
Oh,
comment.
okay.
You forgot one.
Oh, you mean under attorney?
Oh, no, I thought you meant it was here. I was going down there. No, I was going down there. Superintendent, it's your time to shine. Would you like
I
to?
will be very brief, but many of you, if you've been in and out of the building the last couple of days, you may have noticed some changes. We have tried to move equipment out that is older. We have moved file cabinets out. We put air purifiers in the hallways in this room. We put in air fresheners. We've tried to coordinate the chairs so they look very presentable. We're having carpenters come in. We have also ordered new podiums, but I would especially like to thank a few of our maintenance crew that has done a lot with that. Jody has really helped out over the last couple days and has been all over the building. John has been all over. We have a new employee, Denise, that has kind of coordinated that cleanup, if you will. So we're really trying to go through the building and just take care of things that have kind of sat. So if you see it start looking different, that we have really made a conscious effort to try to go through and clean some things up. So just wanted to acknowledge that.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Now it's time for public comments. Anybody in the audience would like to come up, podium, give us your name and what street that you float on.
I'm sorry, that was a good one.
I just had to do that. 'Cause I saw the mud poles up there today when I was up there.
Tony Kennedy, a couple things. 1114 Arthur Avenue. And as most of you know, I am running for office. I'm not really good at tooting my own horn or anything like that, but it is a fact. And I've heard others come up here and talk about what they're willing to do for the township or for the community, which honestly, I never see anybody else but me here. Truthfully, other than this young lady. Well, you're not running for office. So, part of running for office also means showing up and being accountable and trying to make a difference. So that's what I'm trying to do in trying to run for office, because I believe and I know that I can make a difference. That being said, Arthur Avenue. So I did see that there had some markings. What I was curious about is, are the neighbors, I talked to most of the neighbors down that street. We all saw the markings and everybody got excited. But of course, there are other challenges. People are worried about their cars, Are they going, the driveway is gonna be blocked, so we weren't sure about that. Usually the contractors or city or township or come to your door, let you know something, put a note on your door so that, you know, you can plan for it. Me, I'm ready. I'll park down the street if I have to park down the street because especially my area is expected. So I wasn't sure what to do with that. And just because it's you, Supervisor Martin, I was going to the town, the commission meeting tomorrow for the Kalamazoo Road Commission. Because it has been 6 years. I've been slated for 6 years. You know, you say I'm slated again and you got a phone call, but you did get a phone call last year too, if I remember.
I've got an email from this one here too.
Yeah, I've got a lot of
I've got
emails.
all
I
the
can
dates.
show them all, and promises by Joanna's and others. But I'm grateful because you're saying it, that I will not attend the board meeting tomorrow because they know I'm coming.
Yeah.
Just to see if maybe they can go ahead and get it done, and it just happens to be our turn. You know, I say that. I also would like to congratulate Sean and Joe on their retirement. I don't know if the township is planning to do anything for them, or maybe the fire home is, where the community can come and thank them also. And then, I think that's it. Okay, so thank you.
I will get back with you as far as the road closure. I doubt, usually when they do that, they'll do one side and leave one side open. It might be in fact one driveway, but I don't think it will. I'll let you know after.
There's a
tomorrow.
lot of driveways going from Coy
Yeah.
to East Main, so
Yeah.
just having a plan. I mean, if they don't have the time, let me phrase that properly. If they don't have the time, I'm willing to walk up and down the street, and help the neighbors. Most of them already know it's coming.
Yeah.
And I told them it could come or not come, it could be another year, I was honest with them. But, you know, if they could just let me know, I'll do the work for them if they're willing to do the work for us.
That's what I was hoping today. I was hoping I'd find somebody up there so I get all the information, so I give it to you, so you
Yeah.
can pass it on, but they
No.
did get up there to work today, so.
No, I was looking for them when I left this morning, and I didn't see anything, I didn't see much on Friday, except the markings on the road, and I don't really know what they mean. Some are green and some are blue.
Yeah.
I figured something is consumer,
Yeah, one, the blue, you know, you got water there and you got,
right, water,
and
blue
it's
is
sewer,
water.
it's the other one too, so.
Yeah, so we'd like to help and support if they're willing to get started.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else, please? Come to the podium. Seeing nobody else, I think we are, oh, what am I doing?
Anybody on Zoom?
Is there anybody on Zoom? Okay, thank you. I think we are done with the agenda, so we are done at 8:43. Thank you.